Hey, this is Luci McMonagle, and I wanted to pop in to give you some tips on what to do as an entrepreneur when you are reaching overload and overwhelm, especially if you're a powerful leader who is up to some big things in this world. Sometimes it can seem so overwhelming, and you can overload yourself so easily when you have this vision that you want to accomplish. And as an entrepreneur, there's so many of us that are reaching out to try to create a big impact on the world. And when we want to create a big impact on the world, as a visionary, we might see the big picture. And a lot of times, trying to get to that big picture, we sometimes have to slow down instead of speeding up. So today, hey, it's good to see you, Bob. Good to see you, Dawn. Welcome for joining me. I appreciate that. And I'm talking about what to do when you start reaching overload and overwhelm as a powerful leader and an entrepreneur. So some of the tips that I have discovered when I'm starting to reach overload is I have to really look at my schedule and start determining what items are the priorities, must have, and what items can I delegate to somebody else, or can I change the timeline because I'm putting too much on my plate, or I have too many things going on where I'm not getting the proper amount of rest, where I'm not getting the proper amount of time outside in nature, or I'm not getting the proper nutrition because I'm too overwhelmed or overloaded in order to cook nutritious, healthy, vegetarian, or light meat meals. So a couple of things, hi Sanel, that I would like to talk to you about. And if you have any questions about overload and overwhelm, please put them in the comments and I'll answer them, because I'm only going to be on here for about 10 or 15 minutes. And this is my weekly wealthy wisdom, and I wanted to make sure that I give you the biggest impact. So overload, always check to see if there's things that you can delegate. You can also use the acronym ADD. Can you automate things that you are doing? Can you delegate things that you're doing? And finally, can you delete things that you're doing? So if you remember the acronym ADD, automate, delegate, delete. That will start helping you with overload. And some of the things that, as a visionary entrepreneur, that we deal with when we hit overload is we also start feeling overwhelmed. Small things that we normally do that takes us 5 minutes suddenly starts taking us 10, 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes we don't even get them done, because we start looking at this big, long list of all of this stuff that we have to do. And then we have to feel so much pressure. And a lot of the pressure we're putting on ourselves. Now, I don't mean that there's things that you can't take off your list. Obviously, if you're coaching with individuals, you don't want to call up your clients and say, no, I feel overwhelmed, so I'm going to reschedule you. You really want to give your clients as much notice as possible and let them know when you're going to have travel plans, or let them know beforehand, because individuals really like to have a schedule and they like to feel that trust. So as a part of your getting to the overload and overwhelm part, the one thing that you don't want to delete is your clients, or the trust that your clients have in you. So always be mindful of that when you're looking at your automate, delegate, or delete list. The next thing that is really important is schedule in time so that you can be in nature, even if it's just going outside, taking a few walks around the block, or walking to the end of the block and then coming back. And or if you're able to go to a park. I have a park literally just right around the corner from me where they have these little mountains, that you can sit on so it feels like you're just on the edge. And they're just tiny little mounds, but when you're sitting on the little mounds and your feet are a little lower than your hips, you start feeling like you are starting to ground with the earth. When you're actually able to sit on the ground, not on concrete, not on chairs. You can put a blanket down if you don't have any grass, if you only have dirt, because I do live in the desert and we have a lot of rock gardens here. And thank you for all of the hearts. I appreciate that. So being in nature, sitting on the ground, actually feeling the grass or the dirt or the sand beneath you, even if you have a blanket, it's going to help you with the overload and the overwhelm. And it'll help you think more clearly in your business and in your life. And when you take time to lean up against trees, if you can sit down on the ground and lean up against a tree, trees will impart knowledge to you that you're not even aware that they've given it to you, sometimes for a day, sometimes for a week, sometimes it'll be a month later. And I've noticed that when I'm around trees, when I'm around nature, when I'm around grass or flowers, I feel better. And if you have a yard where you can actually pick flowers, that's even better. Yesterday, I went into my backyard and I clipped these flowers from my backyard for me. And so I put them in my office because I want to be closer to nature, and it's helping me to overcome the overload and overwhelm, because I just recently purchased a house and I just recently moved 9 days ago, as a matter of fact. So another thing that you can do, oh yes, I love that, play music and get into the peak state. That's definitely another edge that you can do. I love listening to music. I have devices that are about this big, and they're Wi-Fi capable and they're Bluetooth capable. So I just turn on the Bluetooth, put my music on through iTunes, through my phone, and they play pretty good. So playing music, being out in nature, making sure that you look at how can you automate, delegate, or delete on your list. And another thing that's really important is learning how to manage stress. When you're really getting to the point on the overwhelm, when you're getting to the point on overload, you might notice that your emotions are a little more tense. You start taking things a little bit more personally. You start getting a little more agitated, a little more irritated. You start feeling like the world is crumbling in on you. When you start noticing these signs, the moment you start noticing these signs, start taking some breaths. Breathe in, breathe all the way into the base, the diaphragm. Utilize your diaphragm, which is right below your rib cage, and just put your hands on your diaphragm and breathe in and feel your hands expand out and then expand back in. And being able to truly take a few moments, even if it's just 5 minutes a day for you, and then start looking at what's really, really important. What am I attempting to accomplish as an entrepreneur, as an individual that is starting to have the overwhelm, starting to have the overload? What do I really, really want to focus on? And then what is my one next step? Just one next step. Not the next 10 steps, not the whole list of everything you have to do, not everything you have to do in one day, but what is my one next step, moment by moment? And as you start looking at, in this moment, I am going to accomplish, I am doing a Facebook Live. In the next moment, I'm going to be creating a Wealthy Wednesday show. But right now, I'm focused right here, right now. Some of the techniques that you can utilize to be here now is a meditation that I do that takes less than 30 seconds to become focused, balanced, and centered. So you take your fingers. If you're driving, please don't do this. Listen to this later, watch this later. If you're watching this and driving, please don't do that. Pay attention to the road. So put your fingers like this. And this is called a mudra. You can rest your hands or put them wherever you want. I just showed them in the air so that you can see that. And then put the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth. You're going to feel this little mound, this little divot in the center behind the top of your teeth. And then close your eyes and just breathe in. Do the diaphragmatic breath. And imagine that you're breathing all the way down to your toes. Hold it for a few seconds and then breathe out. You want to breathe in focused, balanced, centered, or you can breathe in any words that you need. Maybe you're feeling disgruntled, or maybe you're feeling agitated. You can breathe in peace, harmony, and love. Whatever you need to breathe in, just imagine that you can breathe this light into your body. And just breathe it in. Hold it for a second. Feel it filling you back up. And then breathe out. And when you start releasing your stress, you're able to start thinking more clearly. Your fog head starts going away. And you're able to start being more focused in this present moment. The other techniques is when you're breathing in these breaths and you're focusing on being here now, start asking yourself, where are my soul pieces? Where are my heart pieces? Am I here now? If you're not fully in your body, if you're somewhere out there, or you're so busy that you start feeling like you're in a wave and you're not, or it's like you've been on a long ride and you still feel the road underneath you, you're not exactly in your body. So pull in your heart pieces, pull in your soul pieces, so that you're here now when you're breathing. This will start reducing the stress, start helping you with the overload, the overwhelm, and you'll be able to start doing moment by moment. So I want to thank you for being here. Hey, Tracy, it's fabulous to see that you joined me. And I appreciate all of the love and the appreciation that people are giving me. Thank you so kindly. No, I do not sing. Not publicly anyway. Maybe one of these days I will sing. But not publicly just yet. If you would like to get a hold of me, if you would like to have some tips and strategies on how you can overcome overwhelm, overcome frustrations, please send me some comments below and let me know that you would like my tips and strategies on overcoming overwhelm and overcoming my overload. Now it's going to be a little bit because I'm going to have my assistant transcribe this. But if you let me know, I will send you a copy of the transcription. And you can also go to my website at lucimcmonagle.com, and you can check out my blog posts, and all of my Facebook Lives that I'm doing will be in my blog posts on the following week. So again, thank you for listening, and remember to breathe, be in nature, and utilize ADD. Automate, delegate, delete. So until next week, abundant blessings.